Hey, it's Anthony Meisner with Land Title. Came to bring you your big update for Boulder County this month. And if we kind of look right into it, I'm going to break this down detached and attached separately for you. The inventory situation in the detached market has risen by about 25% over last year, but our under contracts are up 8%, so that's a really good sign. Year-to-date numbers are going to be a little misleading at this point because pretty short starts of the year. Dates kind of landed funny, but we're kind of basically where we needed to be or where we were last year. The only issue is our sold numbers are a little down, but our under contract numbers are kind of tracking. So we're trending pretty similar to where we were a year ago. I think we'll catch up in the next month or two. The attached market, on the other hand, is in a very different place than it was last year. We're up 32% in inventory, so not a huge difference in what we saw in the detached market, but the under contract numbers are down by 12%. Those under contracts year to date are down 3%, and solds are down another 16% total. And we've sold a lot higher price stuff. So that market is confusing at best. So we'll digest it a little bit more as we go. But since we sell the bulk of our market as detached single family homes, we also need to talk about that. City of Boulder, 260 units. It's only up 12% from this time last year. So that might be more of a staple. It's similar to what Superior's feeling, really. We're only up 13% in the Superior market, have 25 units, but places like Erie, Longmont, Louisville, even Lafayette in some ways, large increases in units in those marketplaces as people seem to come to market pretty early, and a lot of people are interested in selling this year. If we go to the attached market, a little different, lots of inventory in the City of Boulder coming on the market again, 168 units. It's a substantial amount and looking to rise pretty rapidly. Louisville actually has a few units in the attached market, which we're not used to seeing, but that's one thing. And if you look somewhere like Superior or Longmont or Lafayette, Erie as well, the attached market in the condo or in the townhouse markets out there in most cases, right? We really haven't seen a huge shift in inventory. We're seeing some, but we're not seeing just a ton, right? So pretty dynamic market right now is what we're seeing. I think the one thing that everyone's kind of asking is like, well, what does that feel like, right? What is our buyers going to feel? What are our sellers going to feel? So month supply of inventory really around this 3-month mark is kind of what I assume this area feels like is balanced. We get closer to 4 months of inventory like the City of Boulder. It probably feels a lot more like a buyer's market in some ways. And when you're down in the twos, like you would be in Louisville, Lafayette, Erie, Niwot, Longmont, right? Those are going to feel a lot more like seller's markets still, even though your seller might be waiting a little bit. They still control a lot of the dynamic, and you're going to see appreciation in those markets. City of Boulder, detached might be okay a little bit, but the attached market is really skewing that number, and it just is much more balanced. So buyer and seller being on even footing. Days in MLS, though, are a lot higher than they were this time last year. We have 62 days in MLS. Yes, it'll trend down like it always does into that June time period, but not all of these markets are created equal. Niwot and Louisville specifically have been very hot. They've been moving quickly, 38 days. Superior and Longmont and Erie are a lot slower, over 60 days. Really, that Erie market at 94 is taking a lot longer to sell because there's just a lot of competition out there from sellers. That is going to push prices down, right? Because more competition means more aggressive sellers, and buyers will definitely play them against each other. So you're going to feel that in the marketplace in Erie or in Superior in a lot of ways. Now, when you're working with buyers and sellers, sometimes just comparing the county at their price point is really helpful. So we use the active units and the sold units to kind of get a gauge on that. One of the big things you're seeing right now is a rise in inventory substantially at the lower end, but also really kind of across the board, right? The 2.5 to 3 million has a lot. 41 units came to market. That one has actually surpassed the month supply of inventory of even over 3 million right now. The other thing is sold prices are kind of down all over the board, but largely between 800 and 1.5 million. Now, the attached market, lots of inventory coming across the board, mostly under 800,000. But if you look at the sold units, it's just really spotty. So be careful. There's not a ton of sales there. It's hard to use this data anecdotally when you don't have a ton to go on. But when you look at it by month supply of inventory and days on market back to detached, we're seeing under 1 million, less than 2 months of inventory. Sellers are controlling the narrative. You're really feeling that. You get 1 to 2.5 million. Might be more balanced of a market. And then you just have a plethora of inventory above 2.5 million. 13, 12 months, 14 months. But as you can see on the days on market side, out of the 2.5 to 3 months that sold, or the 3+ months of inventory that sold, they must be priced right and they must look really good because buyers are there. They're just very patient and they're not going to buy anything and they're not going to buy something that's overpriced. The rest of the market, that 50, 60 days is pretty normal. You just have a lot of inventory and a lot of stuff taking place there, so you get a good average there to look at. It's going to trend down the rest of the year, or not rest of the year, but all the way through June like we usually experience. So keep your eyes on that. The attached market, most of the market, under 2 million, 4 months of inventory. It's going to feel fairly balanced right now. That should be rising every single month. Luxury in the attached market has a lot of inventory out there, but same thing. Good units selling super fast. People are shopping, right? So keep your eye open for that. If you've got a good unit and it's priced correctly, I would be shocked if it doesn't sell quickly because we have seen that. Now, how long will that last? It's hard to tell. All right, so average sold price. This is detached single family homes. I have a lot of people asking me how to have conversations about this. So our average sold price last month for the city of Boulder was 2.06 million, and it's down 1.3% over the last 12 months, right? So it's taking a good average of what's happening. And same with the county, right? You can have this conversation. Over the last 12 months, we've changed and we've seen a depreciation and depression in that market by about 2%. It is not all equal. You look at Louisville, you look at Superior, we're building more expensive houses out there with all the rebuilds coming from the fires. And they really are having what I would consider a higher price point of sales. Now, it could be for any number of reasons. Most of the markets have stayed very stable, very flat. Over the last 12 months, Boulder, Lafayette, Niwot, Erie, and Longmont are all nearly zero, maybe minus 1%. They're just stable, right? And in a tough market, stability is all we can ask for. In the attached market, it feels very different. A lot of these markets over the last 12 months are pretty flat, but right now, we're at 1% growth in the city of Boulder, largely due to having a really good February with a lot of luxury sales. I truly think that's probably a negative number. When you look at Erie or Longmont or any of the others, very, very stable markets, Lafayette, Superior's had a pretty big drop off in their attached product because they have a lot of competition with builders. Louisville, there's not a ton of attached stuff there, so that's a hard one to gauge. Same with Niwot, there's really nothing there that's attached, so those are tough ones. But as you're kind of having this conversation, the narrative around average sales price, stability is good. Now, there is a lot of hurdles in the attached market, so be careful about really pushing people into that product just because maybe the price feels good right now. Now, it's total sold wise, right? We had a great number of under contracts last month. It is going to outperform March, but February had a hard one because January was kind of a weird month. We had a little bit of an off time. So right now we're behind where we were this time last year. Will we catch up? Of course we will. But across most of the markets, we're down 15, 20%. Craziest thing is look at Superior. We had 10 additional sales, which is a 40% rise over this time year to date last year, right? And look at Louisville, same thing. More inventory, lots of desirability to live there. You see more sales take place. So it's interesting to watch. I think it'll all kind of come out over the next few months, by May especially. Hopefully we're a little ahead of where we were this time last year, I mean. And this year is looking pretty good so far. So the last one to talk about, percentage listed sale price. This is a good one when you're talking about making offers or offers you might have received with the seller. You can see that over the last 12 months, we're down just a little bit from where we were, but things are fairly stable at 98%. Now, it doesn't take into account price drops or concessions, which we do have other data on if you're interested in it. But this one really helps set the narrative about, how we're not really expecting multiple offers or bidding wars or any of that stuff, but we are just kind of in a stable condition, right? So stability, I think is the key for Boulder County right now. If you have questions, need other data, please reach out to me. I'm Anthony at Land Title. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you next time. Thank you.